Alright, today I'm building a set of shelves here. They're pretty easy to make. I think they're very efficient on the materials and the time that it takes to make them. Each shelf base is going to be made out of two 8-foot 2x4s and two 21-inch 2x4s. That'll give you a total shelf width of 2 foot and a length of 8 foot. And then it's just a matter of ripping a piece of a 4x8 sheet of plywood or OSB, rip it in half, and you've got two shelves out of each piece of plywood. So here I am just tacking it all together with two 16-penny nails per connection. Now I'm doing my layout here on the wall, measuring up. I'd like to make each shelf about 21 to 24 inches apart. For storage shelves, it's a good idea to, if you use totes, to measure how tall your most common tote size is. And then I like making my shelves, depending on if they're shallow totes, I'll make them, 2 totes tall. If they're, a larger tote, then I'm only going to make it, 1 tote tall. So here, I got my blocks on the back of the wall here to help support the shelf while I get it all nailed up. And as soon as I put that shelf up there, I noticed that it hit that that waistline coming down. So got to move it up a little bit. It's going to make this bottom shelf a little taller than I wanted, but that's okay. So just because you got to work by yourself doesn't mean you can't get the job done. Using a couple buckets and a piece of wood to support the front of that shelf. Once I get it leveled here and tack in that side support, makes all the rest of them go pretty easy. Just getting the shelf top on here. Once this is all together, these things are extremely strong. Can easily support a couple 100 pounds per shelf. And I'll talk about that, the trick to get that to work when I start. So having to move that shelf up actually kind of worked out in my favor. So now I can stack 2 5-gallon buckets on top of each other, and they'll fit underneath there, which works great for this shelving unit here because it's all going to be leftover construction supplies and things from building this house. So you just tack up one block wherever you want it at whatever height, then level over, tack up your other block, and that assures that the back side of that shelf is going to be level. And then you only have to worry about leveling front to back. So you see I put that piece of 2x4 there along the side of the wall. I'm eventually going to be drilling through those, and I tap count them into the wall all the way down from the bottom shelf all the way to the floor to the top shelf, and that gives me a positive support, and I'm not relying just on tap counts on the wall. I like having that structure going all the way down. And I do the same thing over on the right hand side of the shelf with that support leg. I put 2x4s in so that each shelf isn't just relying on the nails to hold it up. It's actually resting on wood from the top of the shelving unit all the way to the floor. So the shelves are nailed to the wall using 16-penny nails. Then I switch over to 8 pennies and nail on the plywood. In this case it's OSB. So these shelves end up being pretty tall. I got a 10-foot basement to work with here, so I got the room. And that first shelf's about 32 inches off the ground. Just double check and make sure these are level. You really only got one shot. I hate having to redo work, but it happens. Just double checking over here, making sure these blocks that I cut fit like they're supposed to, and I've laid everything out right. Hammer drilling here now for the Tapcons that'll hold. Just they're not holding anything up. They're just trying to keep those blocks that I'm putting in there for that positive support to keep them from getting knocked out or knocked loose at all. So one screw per is plenty. Getting in these other side blocks here, you want a nice tight fit, and you definitely want to make sure that you either take into account your 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch plywood OSB thickness, or you measure after you have all that plywood attached. I've made that mistake once or twice. And this blocking here can be anything. Pretty sure these are just scraps from like pallet strapping, stuff like that. Any wood that you got will work out just fine. I always tack the back of that plywood in first, because then if there's any irregularities in the way the plywood was cut or in the lumber, you can use your weight to pull out or push in that front framing member to make sure you got a nice flush fit. Okay, just lopping off the top here, and we're all done. Appreciate you guys watching. Please like and subscribe.